Let's talk about this Johns Hopkins study. Only one of the three authors of this.
We'll do this in a little bit. We'll do that in a little bit because that's actually about the fucking the lockdowns, which we're gonna talk about in a second. So Dave Chappelle lives in this Ohio town. He talks about it all the time. He's talked about it a bunch. He is he's basically a god to this town, okay? Straight up. I know this from, firsthand sources. We're going to talk about Dave Chappelle's story now, okay? Dave Chappelle is vowing to pull investments from the Ohio town that he's been living in for a while if it doesn't stop this affordable housing plan. Now, this is a conversation that we need to have about NIMBYs and YIMBYs. NIMBYs and YIMBYs are sometimes incredibly fucking annoying on the timeline. That's a group of individuals that I also hate getting attention from. There's probably a lot of you in here right now. The difference between a NIMBY and a YIMBY is yes in my backyard versus no in my backyard, not in my backyard. Okay? It's people that oppose developments in their neighborhoods versus people that are pro developments in their neighborhoods. Now, the YIMBY side, the yes in my backyard people, are interesting because you have well-intentioned leftists on the YIMBY side, okay? And then you have psychotic, hyper-capitalist, libertarian scumbags on the YIMBY side that are like, dude, shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter if we're building fucking, luxury condominiums. Like, that's still going to actually create more demand. That's still going to that's going to open up more fucking condominiums that people will be able to, at the very least, rent from. Like, it's just basic economics, dude. You just don't understand it. You literally don't understand it. Like, more supply is good. Like, more supply is good. That'll actually fucking, more supply is good, technically, for the record. It is good. But there also has to be measures, okay? There also has to be regulation and restrictions, and opening up more supply of luxury condominiums isn't necessarily opening up an opportunity for other people to be able to find affordable rent. The market doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. At this stage, if you're like old enough to see how this works, you have to recognize that it's not, oh, if there's more supply, that means like then housing prices are going to go down, and it will be able to go along with the demand, the increase in demand, and therefore people will be able to rent a lot easier. Okay? Especially when a lot of these are seen as investment properties and a lot of these are seen as investment vehicles. There's a lot of foreign investment that plays a role here, okay? And therefore, none of that fucking supply is opened up. It's just still vacant homes, or it's Airbnb homes. It's an investment vehicle that you can create additional opportunities to fucking rent on.
Thanks for dealing with all.
Okay?
Hope I don't get brain rot.
I am a YIMBY if I think when you oppose affordable housing in your neighborhood, you should be forced to have double the affordable housing. What? So,
hey, at HasanAbi, just wanted to share
so Dave Chappelle,
lockdown from a bomb threat at Yorktown.
a lot of time affordable means according to the zip code median income too. Sure. Dave Chappelle puts his balls on the fucking table at this city council meeting, and he basically stops this new development project dead in its fucking tracks. He does not think that this new development project, which also is going to feature some affordable housing in it. Now, the details of that we're going to get to in a second, because this is what a lot of developers do. A lot of developers do this little trick where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to, of course we're going to do affordable housing on our new development. Like, come on. And then the affordable housing isn't actually affordable. And they're not even, fun fact, they're not even fucking building the affordable housing at all. They're just offering extra land, for example. Okay? Like they're not building the housing. They're just saying, we're going to give you the land. If you let us do a development here, we'll give you the land. And then you can build the affordable housing here. Like that's, some fun little tricks to basically, get away and a little marketing trick to be able to sell your major development idea to a city of well-intentioned people. So that's the reason why as soon as I saw Dave Chappelle come out and be like, oh, wow, this is what's going on here. There is this, there's this development and I will pull my investment out. And if you go forward with this, I will literally pull my fucking investment out. My immediate interaction wasn't, or my immediate reaction was not, oh fuck, he's like, he's on his villain shit. He's on his like rich, he's on his rich boy shit,
Can I go? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Even though he is going to come across like a total dickhead here.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I can talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they X out a $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. You look like.
So he's saying he's a $65 million company on his own. Like that's him. He's like a brand. And the $24 million company is the developers, I guess, or the $24 million development that they are taking on. And he's saying like, how dare you make me audition for you? Even though I can talk to him. So is it not bad now? Dave did good. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what the details are. Is he for the development, but against the affordable units? In which case, it's totally fucked up. That is like the most villainous shit you can do. Okay? If you're pro-development, but literally specifically just against the affordable units, then that is completely unacceptable. Like the absolute worst. If he's confused and he thinks that like affordable units are not actually affordable, or the affordable units are a lie to fucking accelerate the development and like, fast track this shit, and that it's all just going to be rich condominiums or whatever the fuck, or market rate condos that they're building, okay, then that's one thing. So I don't understand, because like I do believe, or I have thought for the longest time, that Dave Chappelle was actually pro-housing. Like, even though he did, what do you call it? Even though he did, I accidentally had Twitter up on the other fucking page, and it's like, I despise people. If you're on Twitter and you're trying to if you're on Twitter and you're quote retweeting me to say some negative shit, honestly, like, just log off, dude. You should be in jail instead. You should just fucking do something else, okay? Straight up.
14 months, Pog.
You're pathetic. You're a loser. Your life sucks. I don't know how else to describe it other than your life fucking sucks. And getting like the 12 other people that like accidentally see your fucking take, and that little adrenaline rush you get when like you get your first fucking like, is not going to help you. It's not going to save you. Anyway, but Dave Chappelle did actually support Andrew Yang, which was fucking weird. I remember being like, I remember talking shit about that, obviously, for obvious reasons, even though a lot of you Yang gang motherfuckers were like, what? Why are you getting mad at him for that? Yang is the future of America. He's great. So let's watch this. He was a Yang gang guy.
I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
I think he's doing the standard NIMBY rich property owner thing of flexing nuts because of the potential of lowering the property value because of cheaper housing.
So I'm going to formally open the public hearing, and I want to do a little bit of fact checking, and then we're going to have Denise, Brianne, a few other people present, and then council's going to make a decision. So Laura Curlis did a commentary on the memo that I put into the packet, and she referred to that earlier. She very factually has stated that the village is going to lose $213,000 in tax revenue. And I want to comment on that because, first of all, and it was really odd to me that that was the one modification of my table that Laura made, where she removed the reference to the fact that the valuation did not include the
New York Post wrote an article about this and said, and even they admit that the plan is bullshit. It's not like you said. It's not. And it's just like you said, they're promising affordable housing, but not actually implementing it immediately. They're building 600K houses, just like you said. Okay, so I'm hearing conflicting things on this, okay? If you're pro-development but anti-affordable housing units, then you're a piece of shit. There's just no other way around it. Like, you're literally just an awful person, okay? I don't know how else to describe it. Like, you just don't want fucking poor people in your backyard. That's it, right? As per David's wishes, the council ruled that the build can continue, which David and the rest wanted, but will do so without letting poor people in, which was their primary objection. So the build is going on. I just dug in to it and just to make it certain, but the developer was explicitly putting land aside for affordable housing without even plans for it yet. Oh, so okay, so it is bullshit. So like both sides are villainous in this circumstance. Where like I hate this when both sides are capitalist as fuck in the situation. One, you have the community members that personally think that affordable housing units are actually going to fucking decrease their property value, which they see as an investment vehicle and not just a house that they live inside of as shelter. And then you have a fucking developer, a capitalist developer that's like taking advantage of the well-natured individuals by saying, oh yeah, no, this development is actually great, but we're going to build affordable housing units on top of that, when they're not actually interested in building affordable housing units at all. And they're just setting aside land specifically for the affordable housing units without even fucking building them. Okay? So if Dave turns around and in that circumstance says, no, you shouldn't even set land aside for affordable housing units, then he's the worst in this situation. That's incredibly fucking reactionary. If Dave's position is, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're not going to fucking just send land aside. You have to build affordable housing units. That's fucking bullshit. And the main development is not supposed to have fucking... the main development should not be made specifically for $300,000 to $600,000 housing units, which is like price adjusted to the region, but instead cheaper. Okay, then that makes sense. Found the defend Dave angle, God tier debate lord. You are actually fucking not hearing what I'm saying. Do you not hear what I'm saying? I just said Dave is the biggest villain in this story if he's exclusively saying nuke the fucking affordable housing unit part of this deal. Okay? That is like that even in a situation where there is a fucking developer that is trying to sell a project to a city, okay? Dave is still the worst person overall if he's nuking the affordable part of the affordable housing part of this. So we'll take a look further. 140 house plan in Yellow Springs takes another step forward. Yellow Springs is planning. The commission on Tuesday recommended the village council rezone land meant for new development south of the village with a few modifications. Oberer Homes, a Miamisburg company, base company that builds new developments, is planning on building 140 new homes on 55 acres south of the village. Available homes in Yellow Springs have become increasingly expensive and scarce. The new development would be open land west of Spillane Road and north of Hyde Road. Village council will vote on rezoning on December 6th. Okay? By the way, I love that you said instead of reading articles from mainstream media with biases, watch the local news coverage of the story. Local news coverage of the story will be fucking hyper NIMBY. What the fuck do you mean? Everyone has biases in this situation. But you also have to remember that local news is incredibly reactionary. What are you talking about? Local news is for people who are the business owners that, stand to gain the most from nuking the affordable side of the fucking, the affordable housing side of any sort of development deal. Biases about Dave Chappelle, not the project, you himbo. Exactly. No, they're going to have biases about the project, not Dave Chappelle. It's more important. Dayton, at their meeting on December 6th, the Yellow Springs Village Council discussed their plans to rezone 50 acres of property. We already figured that out. Okay, one citizen was very vocal about their opposition, comedian and Yellow Springs resident Dave Chappelle. Chappelle told the council that besides living behind the proposed development, he has many business interests in town. I just want to say that I'm adamantly opposed to it. I have invested millions of dollars in town. If you push things through, what I'm investing in is no longer applicable. The average age in Yellow Springs is 49 years old, according to Chappelle. He also said without a school, they will not be able to attract young families. The changes are inevitable, but we do have a decision on what they will or could be. Chappelle has an office in downtown Yellow Springs and at least 2 redevelopment projects in the works, including one, the former firehouse on Corey Street that his company bought to convert into a comedy club and restaurant. Additionally, Chappelle's company owns an old schoolhouse on Dayton Street. There have been plans to renovate it and for the National Public Radio affiliate in Yellow Springs to move their offices and studios there. So I know for a fact that Dave Chappelle loves Yellow Springs. He does. He literally, he does. Like he might even personally think that he's doing the right thing for the people that are surrounding him in Yellow Springs. It just happens to be that the people that are surrounding him in Yellow Springs are, petite bourgeois business owners that are also against the development project or at the very least, against the development projects and the affordable unit part of the development projects.
Tension because comedian Dave Chappelle says he's opposed to it. During a public village council meeting earlier this week, Chappelle said he will pull his business investments from the village if council approves the development. News Center 7's John Bedell talked to the village manager about the proposed plan and Chappelle's concerns.
We're here on the south end of Yellow Springs. This is just a cornfield right now, but it's the site where a new housing development would go if this current proposal goes through, and it's creating some controversy here in the village. The proposed housing development calls for single-family duplexes and townhomes to be built at the corner of Hyde and Spillin Roads. It's about a 2.5-mile drive from downtown Yellow Springs. Comedian Dave Chappelle didn't say specifically why he was opposed to the...
Bro, people are going to get mad at me, but I am literally the most libertarian Andy when it comes to fucking Ohio and shit, okay? Bro, it's Yellow Springs, Ohio. What? It's a fucking cornfield. What are you preserving, dog? Build fucking housing in that cornfield right now, okay? Build fucking housing in that cornfield right now. Right this very moment. Build it yesterday. What the fuck are you doing? What are you preserving, dude? The corn? The ugly ass fucking field? Is that what you're preserving? Bro, I live in Los Angeles, okay? And in this fucking city, they take down beautiful monuments, okay? This is a city with some fucking history. They take down fucking churches in Echo Park and they build luxury condominiums in its place. Ugly ass, brutalist architecture. They pop up left and fucking right. You're offended and afraid of a fucking cornfield that doesn't even have corn on it? Build some fucking houses there now! Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry.
plan, but did say this during a virtual village council meeting this week.
I just want to say I'm adamantly opposed to it. Obviously, I live behind the development or the proposed development.
He was one of the people who spoke against the plan at the public meeting.
I do have many business interests in town. I've invested millions of dollars in town. If you push this thing through, what I'm investing in is no longer applicable.
For perspective, Chappelle keeps an office in downtown Yellow Springs and has at least 2 redevelopment projects in the works there. As we reported last year, his company bought this former firehouse on Corey Street and is converting it into a comedy club and restaurant. Plus, just down the road on Dayton Street, Chappelle's company owns this old schoolhouse. There's plans to renovate it, and
it literally just fucking feels like, it just feels like he wants to preserve the beauty of that town that he's living in, right? Like, I mean, I don't mean to come across like a fucking asshole and be like, you know, I just don't even understand why he would literally, like, what's the problem? Like, you don't want fucking more housing is going to help your fucking comedy club. I'm just saying. Spoke to a city council member who voted for the proposal and said Chappelle never specified a reason for wanting it killed. She said the proposal failed because of Chappelle's threats to pull his business from the town. Chappelle, this is Chappelle's like fiefdom, for the record. He owns this town, straight up. I know him for a fucking fact, okay? I just don't know why he would not want this building to, like, even if he's trying to fucking build a comedy aesthetic. Or not a comedy aesthetic, sorry. Even if he's trying to build like a fucking, like a comedy shop there, like that's gonna happen. You guys are being childish. You're doing that fucking 14-year-old anarchist shit again where you go, he's a real estate developer now, shut up capitalist. What the fuck are you talking about? If he's a straight up cappy, then he would be literally very much in favor of fucking building housing units, no matter what it is. I don't know if you know this or not, but like, you know, capitalists love building. Okay, that means more inventory, more people will come to build, more people will come to fucking live there. It just actually feels like he wants to preserve the small town vibes of his small town, and he wants to keep it like a fiefdom. Bezos isn't building houses for the poor on his new property either. Awful take. Wait, what? Not in his backyard. Bullshit ass take. Wait, what? Dude. But Jeff Bezos is not against fucking like building. What do you mean? Jeff Bezos still wants housing units. What the fuck are you talking about? If Jeff Bezos has a fucking property that if Jeff Bezos has, let's say Jeff Bezos isn't one of the richest people on the planet. Let's say he is building a restaurant. He has a restaurant. Some motherfuckers need to eat at that restaurant. And some motherfuckers need to work at that restaurant. So if you're building a fucking restaurant, it's actually good for you to then have additional developments occurring in that fucking neighborhood because one, the restaurant and its property value is going to increase, okay? And two, there's going to be more people to work at your restaurant. And three, there's going to be more people to eat at your restaurant. That's not how capitalists think. No, that's it. If he's just a real estate developer or if he's just a restaurateur, he wants. Wait, so you're anti-pharma? Good to fucking know, Jesus. What? Do you understand that food doesn't just appear in your whitewashed grocery store? It comes from fucking fields. How do you think food gets to your table, you rich? This is my favorite person. The type of person who says there isn't enough land to fucking make corn in Ohio. Like the 6-month subscriber who thinks like, you know, you fucking rich piece of shit. I'm a fucking farmer. How dare you? There isn't enough corn in Ohio. What are you saying? Twitter is the only place where well-articulated sentences still get misinterpreted. You can say, I like pancakes. Somebody says, so you hate waffles. No, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. What the fuck is you talking about? I mean, exactly. Always. I love this one. Also, yeah, cornfields in Ohio are fucking feed corn. It's livestock feed corn. Not even human corn, so shut the fuck up, dumbass. Bro, like, I don't know if the chatter knows this. Like, I've never been to Ohio. If you ban me, my wife will kill me. Oh, crap. You weren't actually supposed to see this? You fucking idiot. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Okay, I'm not going to ban you. But here's the really stupid thing, okay? First of all, the really stupid thing is that I fucking forgot to run the top of the hour at 1, and it's now 1:30, and I still haven't run it, so I'm going to run it right now. And if you no longer want to see... What? Anyway, if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. You can do that for you can do that by getting gifted a sub if you're lucky. Okay. That was a really funny comment. Here's the 1-minute ad break now, okay? My mom literally worked on this for over a year and was for the affordable housing, and now she's getting death threats on her work phone from Dave Chappelle haters, Lamau. Yeah, there's a chatter in here who talked about how her mom or their mom works for this this honestly just seems like they don't want the town to get bigger. Like, it literally feels like they are very protective over their town and they don't want the town to get bigger. But if they're specifically opposing the like, sorry to that chatter's mom, but it does kind of seem, fucked up that they're not actually building affordable housing units and they're just building more housing units that will be price adjusted to the to whatever the regular rent is there. Okay. But it does feel like they just want to keep the town small and don't want like additional urban sprawl. They just don't want like growth in the town at all and keep it tiny. But the problem is Dave Chappelle is part of the reason why the town is growing. That's just how it works. If you fucking hype up your town, then more people want to come there and there's going to be more need for housing. And if the housing prices are going up, then someone needs to build more houses. But having said that, the funny part about what the chatter was saying, that he like the Ohio chatter who was like upset, the farmer chatter who was upset at me saying, oh, you're anti-farmer, fuck you. I might be a bi-coastal elitist, okay? Like an unapologetic bi-coastal elitist, but I've been to the middle of the country, okay? There's enough real estate, motherfucker. There is literally like so much real estate, dog. Are you fucking insane? Like, if there's one thing in that town, it's real estate. I do some of the brickwork in the shopping area, and I hear people talk about how they come there because they heard Dave Chappelle talk about it. Yeah. Dave Chappelle is unironically responsible for that development happening. He hyped it up too much. He didn't want to keep it a fucking secret. And now, people, there's more demand. Prices are fucking increasing. There's a limited amount of supply that they want to keep limited. I don't think those like people in that small town are like thinking about it from an investment point of view where they're just like, I don't want my investment vehicle in fucking yellow, whatever the fuck, the yellow spring, to maintain its value. Like, I think they just don't want the town to get bigger. That is definitely a problem in places like Los Angeles, where like, if we're talking about a city, if we're talking about like big cities where there's like very finite amount of space, then yes, they don't want that. They do not want their fucking property value to decrease. They want to keep it high. But I don't think that's like how it works in Ohio when, you know, yeah, the population density is like insane. Parts of Ohio where there's a population per square mile is like 10, dude. This is 10,000, right? It's not actually 10. Please tell me it's not just 10.
Yo.
Oh my God, does that mean there's like less than... Are you serious? Yeah, we saw this article. We were looking at this article. Anyway, the specific issue was zoning for high-density housing, which in Ohio is a very low bar to dip into. The problem is Yellow Springs is a well-off suburb of Dayton, and no one wants an excess of cheaper housing supply nearby purely on property values alone. The cynical part of me would assume the land itself was never going to be developed, but remain zoned for denser living to increase resale value, or to be turned into a bougie park later on. But even the possibility it would have been used appropriately is worth trying. By the way, even in the best case scenario, throwing around $65 million in investment to get your way at city council is both what every person with $65 million in investment does, and is also wildly anti-democratic. The math isn't hard here. Even if the developer lied about the affordable housing plot, their revised plans include cheaper housing than the original ones they were reverting to if the edits didn't get approved. Duplexes and townhomes are cheaper than single-family houses. Yeah, this is straight NIMBY shit, dude. I mean, this is what it is. It's straight NIMBY shit. Your house has more density on average than an Ohio congressional district. No, this seems like straight fucking NIMBY shit, okay? And they're using, I hate to be fucking one of those like weirdo Twitter Andes that's like, I'm actually a YIMBY, blah, 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 like, oh, free market economics. Like, I'm not like one of those fucking neoliberals. But I do hear from a lot of people that say stuff like, yeah, I do want affordable housing, but this is not actually affordable. It's like, okay, bitch, do you want public housing? Like, advocate. You have $65 million. I don't see you at the fucking, I don't see you at the council meeting talking about how you need public housing. All I've seen you do so far is try to stop that from happening, like any additional units from being built. Anyway, people with single family homes, you know, evil people, the real evil motherfuckers in America, me, okay, despise upzoning. They just hate it. And if there is a place where like single family zoning is appropriate, it is Ohio. Let's be fucking real. Okay. There's so much space in Ohio that you could do that there technically. But regardless, I think building condos, duplexes, totally appropriate, totally reasonable. It goes both ways. It's fucking Ohio still. Dave Chappelle's spokesperson says neither Dave nor his neighbors are against affordable housing. However, they are against the poorly vetted cookie-cutter sprawl-style development deal, which has little regard for community culture and infrastructure of the village. Yeah, I mean, this just basically sounds like single-family housing is what I live in. Like in Los Angeles, for example, all houses in most neighborhoods sit on 5,000 square feet lots, which is tiny in comparison to the rest of the country, obviously. But it's pretty sizable because it's not actually a building. Like the amount of people that you can fit into a single family home is limited. 6,000 square feet in Los Angeles. You could put a lot more people if you were to build a townhouse, or if you were to build a duplex, if you were to build like a small condo, if you were to upzone and allow for additional developments. Motherfuckers in like New Jersey are laughing at the 6,000 square feet lot. Shut the fuck up, okay? Whatever, dude. Have fun. Have fun. Like, I don't care about this from an investment vehicle point of view, but ultimately this plot of land is still worthwhile more than like whatever fucking Maryland acre that you own, okay? Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. It's so fucking annoying when people are like, oh my God. Yeah, I know. There's a reason why There's a reason why this house that would normally like in any other part of the fucking flyover states, a house this size would be like $400,000, $500,000 max, is in a normal economy is 2.7 million. Okay. I'm poor in Nebraska and living in a duplex is really awesome. Yeah, I know. I know it's fucking awesome. I've seen those fucking housing units in places like Oklahoma. Those things are awesome. Like, Yellow Springs is a tight-knit community of old hippies. They don't like new people, but it's a cute town that gets a lot of outside locals to visit. Where I live, they turned a lot of old Victorian houses into apartments. I currently live with one with 8 units, and my apartment is surprisingly roomy. My house is on a 9,000 square feet lot that's worth $250K easy. Anyway, I do get annoyed at people that are anti-development, especially in Ohio, though. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, sure, you wanna cherish your beautiful town. You don't want it to let it grow. But GG's, that's what happens when Dave Chappelle lives there, and then hella people fucking move in there. And now you need a place to
1 year hassle.
You need a place to live. People that want to make money are going to use this as an opportunity to build more and make money. If you're okay with it in Ohio, but not LA, doesn't that make you an NIMBY? Wait, you think I'm not okay with building fucking more housing developments in Los Angeles? I want public housing. I want Section 8 housing. I want actual fucking socialized living in Los Angeles. And yes, you can build it in my fucking backyard. I don't give a fuck, okay? Like, literally build it in my backyard. I don't give a shit. What I'm frustrated by is what they're doing in areas where they're gentrifying fucking old neighborhoods and pricing people out so they can blow up fucking old ass buildings that were nice, okay? And in a lot of instances spacious too, or blowing up fucking churches, blowing up old schools, and then building fucking luxury condominiums that are going to actually increase the housing fucking price regardless of how it was sold originally.
Have we toured the $295 million the one home?
There's two different ways to go about it, but like the reality is more housing units don't necessarily always mean your fucking house, your price is going to go down. It can mean that your more development can mean that you're going to actually see a big boost in your housing prices. Well, Dave Chappelle is preventing exactly that in his town, doing that same shit, redevelopment and yuppie-focused development. Okay, but they're building it on a fucking cornfield, dog, so that argument doesn't work. What the fuck are you talking about? They're not building it on a fucking school that's been around since like 1874. They're building it on a cornfield. They're not displacing people. It is quite literally the opposite. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like the one area where it actually makes sense. Way more. You're not displacing fucking undocumented immigrants that have been living there for like fucking 3 generations at this point, okay? A family of undocumented immigrants and their other, American citizen children and shit. You're literally displacing corn.
Party face.
Think about the corn.
Party face. Party face. Party face. Party face.
Literally no town or city, no matter how poor or wealthy, can afford to sustain public infrastructure for urban sprawl. You keep saying there's a lot of space in Ohio. That's literally not an issue anywhere except for like San Francisco, lol. There's space everywhere, but sprawl is equally a problem everywhere.
Springfield is an extremely run-down town that's a shell of its former self. Yellow Springs is a nice town in a bad area.
There's literally no town or city, no matter how poor or wealthy, can sustain a public infrastructure. Okay. This is where I part ways with the Yimbies, because I get fucking annoyed by this idiotic take, because obviously There is a difference between building housing units on fucking corn in a small town versus building housing units by evicting fucking poor people that lived in that housing unit already, okay? So that, you know, you can blow shit up and put a fucking Whole Foods down the street so that so that you can gentrify a fucking neighborhood. Like, how do you not understand the human beings that are being displaced in that circumstance being pushed out of the housing market? How do you think people become homeless, dog? What do you think? You think everyone is like, do you have like the same clownish fucking childish view that like, oh, well, people are becoming homeless because they're doing drugs? Like, no, people become homeless because housing prices are unaffordable. They get priced out of the housing market. Their proximity to their fucking place of work in a city that has no walkability like Los Angeles, for example, or a very, very little public transportation, really dog shit public transportation like LA, for example, will make it impossible for them to commute to work because now they don't even fucking live near where they work. What are they to do?
I just got my shirt, let's go. There's literally cron in that whole area. The place is rotting and would do better with the affordable
I live in a
housing.
town in Iowa, population 350, surrounded by corn and run by a small town oligarch. The only thing built in the past decade has been McMansions and a gun store / range. That's the biggest building in town. I wish I was joking. I mean, this already happened. Like, this literally happened in 2008. The only kind of housing that they were building was like fucking suburban bullshit, okay? Just die, it's what the rich say? Yeah. True, the beach town I'm from built an affordable housing development in downtown, but the minimum requirement for affordable is one affordable unit. So there's one single bedroom that's $800 a month, and then the rest of the development is one bedroom units that start at $2,700. It's been 3 years and it's still empty. Still better than nothing though, because now more development is be able to push through and some is actually affordable. I think you're misunderstanding why people don't want it. It isn't about space or the corn. It's about keeping Yellow Springs a tourist attraction. They've been renovating plenty and not doing any new building. But that's still not a bad thing.
Lee Hassie.
When I was growing up,
God, these fucking copy-pasted suburbs are so fucking awful. Started with public housing and now you're yelling at corn enjoyers. I live in a small Texas town and they're just clear cutting everything. I don't know why people keep moving here. The town is dog shit. No parks, no activities, no restaurants that aren't fast food. It sucks. Obviously different from this though. Okay. Anyway, here, let's listen. Let's see the rest of this article. In July 2021, it was announced that Oberer Homes, a Miami-based development company, planning to build 140 new homes on 53 acres on the village's southernmost edge due to Yellow Springs' housing market becoming increasingly steep and scarce over the last several years. At the time, this proposal received some pushback. Residents wrote to the Planning Commission in opposition to rezoning the area to include duplexes and townhomes in addition to single-family housing, for which it was already demarcated. So it seems like they're more upset about the upzoning rather than the development. It does seem like a lot of the fucking village's residents were like, oh no, single family housing. If you're going to build an ugly ass suburb in my neighborhood, that's fine. That's totally fine. We would love to have another copy paste suburb right here. Okay. That's great. You know, where all the rich people can live, where all the single family unit, families can live. That's fine. But not fucking upzoned duplexes and condominiums. We do not want that. At a council meeting Monday, February 7th, Chappelle said, I cannot believe you'd make me audition for you. You look like clowns. I'm not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. According to Rolling Stones, oh yeah, we already talked about his, holdings and what he's doing there. Purchased a fire station, purchased a school, And the town does look beautiful. Okay, it does. It looks cool as fuck. I've seen it when Dave Chappelle was talking about it before.
Yo, I'm an old dog now.
According to the Rolling Stone, Chappelle stated he was adamantly opposed to the project at a council meeting that same month, saying, "I've invested millions of dollars in town. If you push this thing through, what I'm investing in is no longer applicable. I would say that Ober can buy all of this property from me if they want to be your benefactor, because I will no longer want to." So Dave is doing what capitalists do. He's protecting it. It seems like he's protecting his investment. But what doesn't make any sense to me is, I mean, he is. I'm sorry. It actually just feels like he doesn't want the affordable units. He doesn't want the upzoned fucking condos, and he thinks that will fuck the vibes of the town. And he 100% is like against that part of it. I don't think Dave Chappelle is against single family housing. I don't think he's against that at all. I think he's simply just against the upzoning. Okay, he doesn't want duplexes. He thinks they're ugly. He thinks they ruin the sanctity of the town or whatever the fuck. And that's it. And that is straight fucking rich guy NIMBY shit. Okay, it is. By the way, for the record, this is a microcosm, okay, of what people do. This is a microcosm of what people do, and Dave Chappelle has the capacity to do this in like Yellow Springs, but rich people get together and do this in big cities, for the record, okay? They are able to do this in big cities, or they're able to do this in like edge towns of big cities, which Yellow Springs kind of feels like. I'm not aware of the proximity, but it does seem like buses in LA come every 7 to 15 minutes. Westwood, etc. are very walkable and actually relied on LA public transit as well as other places in California and US. LA has the best besides New York City and San Francisco that I've used. You're wrong. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah, Westwood is not the same as the rest of Los Angeles. Los Angeles, unfortunately, the Los Angeles greater metropolitan area is too fucking large for it to be, for there to have been appropriate public transportation. And also, buses are not reliable. And LA is not walkable except for Westwood. You're right, but Westwood is like Westwood Village for a reason. You're talking about a college campus and saying that a college campus is walkable, whereas the rest of Los Angeles is not. What the fuck are you talking about? They literally don't have, like, sidewalks just die out of nowhere. There's no sidewalks. Anyway, Chappelle stated he was adamantly opposed to the project at the council meeting in the same month, said, "I've invested millions of dollars." Chappelle reportedly lives in close proximity to the location of this future development and is not alone in lobbying against the project. Other residents have also expressed concerns about how traffic flow, water management, and the proposed homeowners association. Dude, yeah, this seems, bro, I'm sorry. I don't know if they're doing a good job, or I don't know if they're doing a bad job fucking hearing their counters, but it strikes me. I hate, I've been incredibly charitable to Dave Chappelle throughout this entire process, but this straight up sounds like a crock of shit. Okay? You being against upzoning is cringe, sprawl in general. Wait, what? I'm not. I'm literally defending this. What are you talking about? Dude, sock them yimbies. Shut the fuck up. Okay? I'm already advocating for upzoning. I don't care. Upzoning in Los Angeles is fine too. Okay? What is wrong with you? Why are you like this? Oh, he didn't say you. Yeah, oh shit, he said yeah. Being against upzoning is cringe. Sprawl in general can still bankrupt towns due to the investment in infrastructure. So if he's pro high development in a small town, that's cool, but that's not likely it. He probably doesn't want it to change. It'd be nice if it was higher density with more preserved nature / parks. Okay, sorry.
Socialism.
I apologize.
Capitalism.
Yeah, what he's doing here is just bad across the board. Okay, straight up. Carla Sims, the spokesperson for Dave Chappelle, told the Hollywood Reporter neither Dave nor his neighbors are against affordable housing. However, They are against the poorly vetted cookie-cutter sprawl-style development deal, which has little regard for the community, culture, and infrastructure of the village. Like, you can't fucking mention community and culture and infrastructure of the village. That's like these aren't tangible fucking concerns, okay? Like, these aren't real material concerns. And also, that's bullshit. Like, you're just saying you're against affordable housing. You're absolutely fine with single family units. You just don't want upzoning. You don't want duplexes. And that's fucking bullshit. That's actually bullshit. That is so fucked up, dude.
Until Dave Chappelle throws a fit about this housing stuff in the housing stand-up special.
Also, motherfuckers are so annoying when they say like, "Oh, Hasan, you're a NIMBY. You're a NIMBY. You own a house and you're a NIMBY." Bitch, I literally have apartments in my backyard. What do you want from me? Like, I live in a fucking city where there are apartments in my backyard. Like, quite literally, my backyard is an apartment. What the fuck do you want? It is right behind Chappelle's house. You can see in the county GIS website. Fuck is this? What are they, like, the Greene County, Ohio just has Dave Chappelle's house? Like, they literally just have Dave Chappelle's house as a landmark. They also killed it. Like, that's so fucked up. They literally killed it. That's so gross, man. That is so fucking gross. The village council ultimately voted 2-2 with one abstention on the revised planned unit development zoning. So now they're still doing the fucking village's original plan, but it's not going to include affordable housing in the development on the donated land. So now the lot zoning will only allow for 143 single-family homes, which will begin at approximately 300,000 and will be reportedly ready for homeowners to move in as soon as 2023. That's so fucked up. That's so... Dude, this is obvious, dude. Get the fuck out of here. The more I look into the story, the more I'm like, yo, that's gross, dude. They still are building houses. They're just only doing single-family units. They literally are not fucking... Oh, dude. Dude, that is gross, dude. That's so gross. That's fucked up. The funniest part about it is that the developer probably wasn't even going to build fucking upzone shit, okay? Like, they just donated it. That's crazy. Meanwhile, we'll just complain about the nationwide homeless problem like it's exclusively a moral failure. Yeah, exactly. I hear 300K, and I think that's cheap by city standards. 300K is the average in that region, for the record. For those of you who don't know, it's actually incredibly fucking cheap, but it's the average price for single-family housing in Yellow Spring. I looked it up. It goes from 300 to 600K.
Thanks to add nice bathroom for my sub gift.
The New York Post story, by the way. Oh, this is not even the Dave Chappelle one. Never mind. Okay, we'll fucking talk about that in a second. So, yeah, no, this is dog shit. This is really fucked up. Yellow Springs City Council voted 2-2 on Monday. We already covered that. So they're still building housing. Though the city council appeared in agreement with the proposal plan last July, opposition from residents in Yellow Springs led to Monday's decision to scrap the affordable housing. Among the most vocal opposition was multimillionaire Chappelle, who has plans to open a restaurant and comedy club in the Yellow Springs area. Chappelle also has an office downtown. I cannot believe you would make me audition for you. Yeah, this is terrible, man. Chappelle never specified what exactly he didn't like about the new housing plan in his public complaints. Marianne McQueen has been on the city council for 9 years and voted in favor of the new proposal. McQueen told HuffPost she asked Chappelle specifically about his complaints but didn't get an answer. I've asked him at least at the last 2 council meetings, please tell us, how is this development negatively impacting your business interests? Please tell us, but he hasn't. But by the way, it doesn't. That's the other thing that's like fucking annoying.
Now pick me up in your new Porsche Hassel.
It actually doesn't. It doesn't even fucking impact it. It just doesn't impact it as much, okay? Like, you want to know why this is gross? You want to know why this is fucking gross? Because an allotment for upzoned affordable housing units, which will be condominiums, will not actually hurt his bottom line. It just won't be as high, okay? That's it. That is what's incredibly fucked up about this story, is that this is a story of greed, and it's also a story of trying to maximize your value, and it's a story of trying to keep things the way they actually are supposed to be by not allowing poor people to live in this fucking neighborhood, or relatively less wealthy people to live in this fucking neighborhood. Because that development itself, no matter whether there's affordable housing units there or not, is going to actually improve the amount, Dave Chappelle's property values and Dave Chappelle's businesses. Okay? But he's trying to fucking min-max by making sure that the one impact that it will have, which is like not increase it as much, he's trying to stop that from happening. There are younger people, and especially people who've moved in more recently, who are pretty enamored of Dave and don't want him to pull his business out, and apparently willing to do his bidding. Asked why she thinks Chappelle called her and the city council's colleagues clowns, McQueen said, mostly liberal towns have seen the same sort of divisiveness that has seeped into the national discourse. There are very few Republicans in Yellow Springs, but nonetheless, we have become so divisive that we engage by fighting each other, and the role of social media has exacerbated it. Oh, God, we're so divisive. It's like, no, it's just fucking who wants to do more capitalism? That's what this is. That's all this ever was, a ruse by a developer to make a deal sound more equitable to its liberal residents, a plan for affordable housing, more like a scheme. What Ober didn't realize that good liberals instantly become conservative reactionaries. So no, Dave Chappelle was not the sole reason behind Yellow Springs thrashing a broadly worded plan for a few dozen new units. He was simply a more vocal, richer member of the mob. But bulldozing poor people for zoning fights is a lot easier than bulldozing people with equally deep pockets. As that same mob discovered what the original plan is. That means the zoning reverts to what was previously approved. Whether you insult a rich and powerful man on social media, there are weirder, lesser known men that always rush to defend the powerful man's defense like their childhood friends. Chappelle isn't against affordable housing. That's laughable. What Chappelle was actually railing against was the plan to put as bunch of McMansions near his property and fuck up all the chill vibes that Chappelle's brought to this town, which is nothing more. That's literally, no, he's saying he wants McMansions. He's fine with the McMansions. He's just not happy with the duplexes. Literally the opposite. Also, he has a McMansion himself. Yo, this is gross. It's actually gross. This is like, my lord, it's so fucking gross.
And for the National Public Radio affiliate in Yellow Springs, WYSO, to move their offices and studios here in 2023. Thursday, I talked to Yellow Springs village manager about Chappelle's concerns.
Frankly, I'm saddened. I'm saddened to hear that he felt that way and that he would consider removing or withdrawing his investments. Because certainly none of what we're doing is any way an attack or to hurt Dave in any way. You know, we're looking out for, I have the responsibility to look out for the interest of the entire community.
Josue Salmarone says he's had other discussions with Chappelle about the issue and says the development is aimed at addressing a housing problem in Yellow Springs. Salmarone says there's a high demand but low inventory for housing here.
We need to do something about our housing stock and our housing affordability. And this is tailored towards that.
So next steps here. Sal Marone told me the next village council meeting on this proposal will be in mid-January. Until then, council's asked for a traffic and an environmental study for this project. And also between now and mid-January, village council will meet with the developer to come up with an alternative plan if this one doesn't go through. In Yellow Springs, I'm John Bedell, News Center 7.
Hold on, I'm tweeting.
Swinging sweaty. I got a 13-month booty. Jammies.